What up? Peace, world. It's your boy NF. I was just talking to my daughter. She's in college. Shout out to Munch. You know what I mean, she's on a basketball scholarship. That's a whole other conversation. Right now, she's 19, going on 20 years old. Right? She's having a hard time trying to grasp spirituality. Right? And the first thing I had to tell her was that you didn't live long enough to really get to really feel confident in the part you don't understand or you can't see or all of that, right? And she's in college, and I was telling her that I think that all black people shouldn't reproduce till they're at least 30 years old. So she was like, 30, she's all anti that, right? But I had good reason. I said, if you want to debate about it, we can. So later on in her college course, this is years before she went to college, and when she goes to college, the professor told her that people don't develop fully to like 25 years of their life. Some part of your brain develops more when you get to understand a little bit more about whatever it is, because at this age, one would think that they know everything, right? At 21, you should know about sex and everything all the way down, right? What you like, what you don't like, how to get it, how to live, how to clean, so forth. So what more can the brain be doing besides getting a fuller understanding on that which we can't fully understand, right? Getting, I should say, better understanding, right? So I was like, damn, I'm trying to use certain movies and memories and personal scenarios to jog her, let us see. But every time I gave one of my personal scenarios, all it did was for me was like give me the chills, and I'm looking at her and she's just sitting there all stoic, not really, showing me the same level of enthusiasm. So I was like, all right, what about we go to use some of the movies and stuff, right? So we watched Game of Thrones, right? And we watched The Matrix, and The Watchmen was one of the other ones I recommend too, right? The reason why now, I was like, all right, comic books. The reason why I started watching buying and becoming a fan of comic books. So somebody down the line, some elderly, younger dude, I probably was like, let's say I was 12 and somebody was like 21, and he was like, yeah, comic books is a story on what's going on outside, like there was a coded story about society and this and that, right? And I'm like, yeah, all intrigued, like that's what that's about. So once I went in there, from the beginning, we could watch X-Men and instantaneously think about the golden people, right? The people that are the chosen people that just naturally are what they are. So so with that, I was able. So now we went to the Watchmen, which is a comic book based type story on whatever. So they had some characters in the Watchmen. If those of you who are familiar with the Watchmen, some of the characters were there was a godlike being, right, Dr. Manhattan. Then there was the world's smartest man, right? And the world's smartest man also became the world's richest man, right? And the plight of these two characters, right? These two characters, the perfect man and the world's smartest man, right? The perfect man was like a god. His name was Dr. Manhattan. He was blue. He floated. He exists in multiple time zones at once. So that gave him a different understanding of past, present, and future as far as we are programmed to understand time, right? So he had a wife, an earthly wife, and in the series they had a conflict because the wife realized that the love I have for you is different than the love you have for me, because mine has risk involved in it. Yours has no risk. So she was like, where's the risk? So they had an argument and he left out. So he went to the world's smartest man. And the world's smartest man has been outcast because on his plight to becoming the world's richest man, after he became the world's richest man, because he's smart, he figured that I could solve all of humanity's problems. And one of humanity's problems is war and self-hate and so forth. So he figured if I create an external problem, right, like, and it will force humanity to want to love itself. So he dropped some type of great big gelatinous octopus or whatever in the middle of the city and killed 3 million people, and the plan backfired because the people realized that he did it, and now they hated him for it. So he was mad because he wanted to be loathed. He wanted to be loved, right? But he was loathed. So when Dr. Manhattan came to him, he was creating life on another moon, another planet, and he said, damn, I want to become normal. Okay, is there a way you can make me normal? And he was like, nah, not really, but there's a way I can make you forget that you are a god. I can put something in your brain, bloop, and you will forget.
Do you have a brain?
I'm sorry?
Well, you seem to have replicated basic human physiognomy, but what about the physiology? You do have a brain, internal organs, blood.
Yes.
Yeah.
Why?
Well, theoretically, we could insert a device into your prefrontal cortex that would short-circuit your memory. Without the awareness of your abilities, you wouldn't know to use them. Except perhaps as a reflex in life-threatening situations. You could walk and talk and live among the normal.
That you were God, but only time that you remember is probably on a near-death experience, right? Now, he said, "I bet," and that's all pretty much I want to use for where I want to go after this. Now, I was telling her there's stories of humans that lift up cars off their women that lift up cars off their children, people that did all types of stuff. They command their body to do it because there was no other way. You understand what I'm saying? And that was a near-death experience, and you went into your God mode. You went into your unlimitless list, right? And when that's one of them. Then they got this. I don't know no other word to describe it, but the people refer to it as retarded strength. Now, what makes it retarded is because you see the person, it doesn't seem like they're in our dimension as far as speed and articulation and all other stuff that we use to determine where you at right now. He seems like he's not, right? So we would think that because of that lack of brain that he would have lack of strength, but it works the other way. So what I believe is that our quote-unquote smart brain is smart from on the way of limits. That by putting words in your reality that instantaneously limits you, right? That's a division, separating you from the all. That's a form of division, and we'll get into that later. That's your subconscious and your primary conscious, right? So the quote-unquote retarded strength doesn't see it with a limit. The retarded strength sees it like, I can move it, I can do it. It doesn't see it like, oh, that's 100 pounds, I shouldn't be able to do that. Oh, I'm a woman, I shouldn't be able to do this. You know what I mean? And to them, they call it superhuman strength, so forth, right? So that lack of indoctrination, as far as that retarded mind is concerned, actually was a form of freedom. And your ability to label him retarded was also a limiting on why you don't have the strength, unless it's a near-death experience. See what I'm saying? So, what's the next thing? Let's talk about Dr. Manhattan and the thing. He put the thing in his head. So now the comic book is designing. So now I'm realizing, I asked another pivotal question. If you are God and somebody isn't God, if you are strong and somebody isn't strong, and he can stop you from being strong, who's stronger? You, the one that is strong but doesn't know it, or the one that stopped you from being strong? And she said, the one that stopped you. I said, exactly. That's what it's all about. If he can't do it, if he can't stand in the light, you understand what I'm saying? And the conversation was so much about spirituality that I had to say, the foods help with your intuition, because in these broadcasts, right? These YouTubes, that there's times I'm talking about a different voice talking to you, and I'm asking you, who is that voice? And what we don't understand is that the voice is whatever you put inside of you, whatever your body has to break down in order to get substance out of it. Is going to communicate with your body, and it's going to tell your body to either do it again or not do it again. The crafters, see now, craft came into the wordplay, right? Now, I'm like, damn, how do they spell? I said, the crafters of the foods, right, know this. And this is why they play with the food. Now, we looked at the word craft, right? I said, how do they spell craft? She said C-R-A-F-T. I said, but how do the people spell craft cheese? She said, with a K. I said, why is that? She don't know. I said, how do you spell right? She gave me all the different ways you can spell right? Correct? And then I said, how does Rite Aid spell right? And she said, R-I-T-E. I said, what does that mean? She said she doesn't know. I said, if you look it up, it's going to say ritual, right? Now, when you look at magic, you can spell magic with the C at the ending, or you can spell it with a K. And if you look for books and different ways to get to the truth, you will see that some of these books will sound phonetically a certain type of way, but will be spelled different, like the Kabbalah with a Q or Kabbalah with a K. You see what I'm saying? And there are different paths to understanding probably the similar thing, with only whatever pathway they allowing it to be true. But that's why it's good for you to take both, to read both, and then discern where you stand. You understand? So that's what that's all about. So if Rite Aid is referring to a ritual, crafts is referring to craft, like witchcraft. You understand what I'm saying? Come on. It's under the same magic with the K and magic with a C. It's not done for no reason. This is $1 billion company that's been around for years, and the main thing that they do is designed for you to feed your children. While you at the craft factory working 16 hours a day, they at home eating craft cheese. And it's going to do something, it's going to communicate with their being. And then that being is going to do stuff to feed that being. Now you're going to occupy ideas of what this food was crafted to do. And that's why when they go and make these little taste tests, and they in their little tables, and they all devious, and they're saying, how do you feel tomorrow? Did you wake up thinking about it? And people are like, yeah, that's all I could think about was that cheese. And then they realize, well, it's not really cheese. It's just some stuff that we trick your tongue to think that it's cheese. Right? We're just going to call it cheese. Powdered cheese it is. Call it powdered cheese. Once we put powder there, we have the right to do that. Yeah. And then they're going to just keep making words and legislation that will shape your reality to allow you to get further and further away from self. So now you say, damn, Merk, what that leave us to do? I say, damn, you got to return to a diet that has little to no one involved in it. And everything they have involved themselves down to the soil. So we're pretty much backed against the wall to look for the cleanest, holistic, whole with a W, holistic diet. That is very important. That's why I say it on my YouTubes, because the food will communicate with inside of you, man. And you will get different thoughts. You will find different harmony. You will find a different way to get to your purpose. You understand what I'm saying? You find yourself more harmonic and balanced, more forgiving on yourself and others. You would get pleasant thoughts of ways to be happy and so forth. And the food, that's where it starts with the food. Starts with the food, and they're keeping you down via your food. Then they're going to keep you down via the way you understand yourself, by taking components outside of yourself and making it look like it's not connected to you. You understand? So I hope that all made sense. You know what I mean? I think that was pretty good. I felt like I should have been taping myself when I was talking to her, but people had a little shy with me around the camera. But now I'm gonna take a Brody next time we do this though, man. You already know who this is, man, how I'm getting down. But if you don't know, if it's your first time around, it's NFOMURK right here with a heavy year though. I love you, man. I'm gonna always keep coming every time I feel it, and I'm giving it to y'all. One.